Hey, it is our favorite time of year where I get to tell you about my favorite books of 2025. Hi, hello, welcome. My name is Kayla and welcome to my chaotic corner of the internet. When it comes to my favorite books, are they amazing literature? Do they have the best characters? Do they have the best storyline? Not necessarily. It's like my favorites are always going to be just like what hit me in the brain and has just like stuck with me in my soul. You know, there is no particular order to this lineup. So buckle up, get ready. Let's talk about the books that I don't physically own right off the rip. So our very first book is Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. This book actually honed in on a lot of dark topics. I mean, the name alone kind of clues you into that. It's about this guy, Ernie Cunningham, and he has a family, and they are all meeting up at the ski lodge for the winter holiday. And the big to-do is that they are all meeting up for the first time in quite a long time because Ernie's older brother is getting out of jail. And it's kind of like his welcome home party, if you will. Before Ernie's brother arrives to the ski lodge after getting out of jail, a body is found. Dun, dun, dun. Unfortunately for everyone, Ernie's brother pretty much shows up the same day the body is found. He was expected to come that day, but it's just a coincidence that everyone's kind of pointing their finger at the recent guy who just got out of jail. And what did he get out of jail for? For killing someone. However, while the story deals with death and murder, more people dying actually in this book. I'm not going to give any spoilers for my favorite books because I want you guys to go read them. But the way the story is told is so lighthearted and kind of funny because it's all first person from the perspective of Ernie himself. And there are a lot of times where you're going to want to shake people. But ultimately, what ends up happening is you end up loving his family so much, and you really appreciate their absurd dynamic through all the trials and tribulations. They're family at the end of the day, and they take care of each other. The storytelling, the prose of it all, it was so fun. I had such a good time with this book. I did cry a little bit here and there. I did laugh a lot here and there. I gasped a bunch, shooketh. I really want to just buy all of Benjamin Stevenson's books, specifically around Ernie. I want them all for the storytelling alone. I have a feeling like the whole shtick of it may get tiresome at some point. I don't know. I loved it so much. I can't imagine ever getting tired of Ernie and his antics. Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. I highly encourage you to read it. If you like mystery and you like that dark, grim stuff, but you also like it a little lighthearted, I would say this is like a cozy thriller. With that, the next book on the list was surprising to me, very much so. And I'm not sure if it's my favorite because of why I read this book, or if it's my favorite like if this would just naturally land on my favorites list organically if I just read it on its own. So that book, I feel so dumb saying this, Layla by Colleen Hoover. If you don't know who Colleen Hoover is, I'm jealous. I'm so very jealous. So in 2025, I did a Colleen Hoover taste test because I was just curious. You know, there was a lot of rigmarole, I feel, about her, specifically in 2024. And then, like, after the whole It Ends With Us debacle, she kind of just, like, fell to the wayside and no one's really talked about her. I have no idea if she's published any books recently. I feel like just all of her books are being remade into movies and that's what everyone is talking about currently. But yeah, after that whole debacle, people just kind of, like, stopped talking about her because of how questionable and problematic her books are and her stories are. But I still did a little taste test. I read a smorgasbord of her works. I would say for the most part, her books were either mid or unimpressive. I definitely can see why people like her work, and specifically her writing style is very digestible. It's kind of like a popcorn book, you know, it's easy, it's fun, you get through it, you had a good time, right? But I think what makes Layla different is it's a supernatural mystery. It was from a male perspective, and his partner, whom he just got married to, like this crazy accident happened where somehow she just started acting completely different. But while they're on their honeymoon, editing Kayla here, so they weren't actually on their honeymoon. They went on this trip to kind of like get away to a secluded area because of how odd Layla was acting. So he was like, maybe we should just like get away for a bit, you know, try and just chillax. There was also a key element that I forgot to mention, is that he had a ex-girlfriend who was missing a few screws in the head. She was the one who attacked Layla, which is why Layla had the incident that she now is behaving very differently. If you guys want a better synopsis and summary of the book, I would highly encourage you to check out Cindy's video. It actually may have been one of her worst reads of 2025, but I think she did a really great job of summarizing the book. I totally understand her point of view from it, but I'll let Kayla keep talking. Her personality completely different, right? He's just like, what the fuck is going on with this woman? However, there's this other entity in the house, let's say a ghost. He forms this connection and bond with this ghost. It is such a crazy, it's so crazy, it's so bizarre, but I had such a good time with it. Is it the best book ever? No. Is it kind of absolutely ridiculous? Yes. Are there some problematic key points to it? Absolutely. But I don't know. I just had such a good time with the book. And again, I don't know if it was because I was reading like Colleen Hoover back to back to back to back, and I was reading all like these kind of like meh books. And then I read Layla, and I was just like, oh my God. This is the diamond in the Hoover rough. And our final book for books I don't own, but I actually really do want to buy this book in particular, is Drowning. Oh my God. I think this is the first book I read in 2025. I sobbed during this book. Oh my goodness. So the premise of this book is that there is a man and his daughter, and they get on a plane to go to Hawaii. Something happens, they lose control of the plane crashes, but they're going to Hawaii. So where does the plane crash, may you ask? In the middle of the ocean. It just so happens that the plane crashes perfectly on like a shelf in the ocean, where it's deep enough for a potential rescue mission, but also the rescue mission is going to be tricky because it's still deep. Any deeper though, and they wouldn't be able to rescue them at all because of obviously the pressure. A lot of people died on initial impact of the plane crash, but I believe there were 8 people who survived the initial impact of the plane crash. And they were down there for a pretty decent amount of time, and a plane can only hold so much oxygen before it starts to become carbon monoxide, I believe, because it's getting obviously recycled through the human body. It is absolutely devastating. Oh, and fun fact, the person who's on the other side, on the surface, saving this plane just so happens to be the wife and mother of the man and the daughter in the plane. Actually, I don't remember if it was his wife or his ex-wife, but for sure the mom of the young girl on the plane. I think after I first read it, I was like, this is a romance novel in like every facet. It's like a romance meets thriller in every facet of the word, because just the relationships, the bonds, the connections. And when I say romance, I don't mean like a romantic partnership or relationship in that sense. I mean like really just the familial community connections that are built during this tragedy. Oh, it was beautiful. And just kind of learning all the different stories of all the different characters. Truly, like if looking at this list and looking at the books, like if I had to pick a favorite, like a number one all-time favorite book of 2025, Drowning would be that book. It was beautiful. So beautiful. And I sobbed. Oh, I sobbed so much. And speaking of sobbing, may I introduce you to Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is my first TJR book. Never read her before. Honestly, to be frank, I have no interest in reading any of her other books. This was the first synopsis of a book of hers where I was like, that sounds up my alley. That sounds like something I would be interested in. So what this book is about is we have Joan, who teaches space science stuff at a school in Texas. It just so happens that while she's teaching there, NASA is like, hey ladies, come on in, the water's hot. And they start to allow women into the NASA program. And so Joan is like, oh, fuck yeah, I get to go to space, possibly, maybe, potentially, or just even just work for NASA? Yes, please. So Joan goes through the process of becoming an astronaut. Just so happens, she does go to space. She does go to space. Now, this story does have a romantic element to it. There is a relationship between Joan and another astronaut. Oh my God. The way I was sobbing the entire time. This book bounces between timelines. So you have current time, and current time is there is a current mission in space. I think they're going to the space station. Things go horribly wrong when they're in space. A huge accident happens. People are dying. And Joan is down in mission control, trying to remain calm and get as many people alive back home. We have our second timeline, which starts with Joan learning about NASA taking in women. So we go throughout the entire timeline until they finally collide. And we're at our current day timeline. And literally on the final page of this book, I was sobbing, I was angry, I was so mad, and then TJR just slaps you in the face and is like, you thought, bitch. This was such a good book. I want to read more TJR because how much I love this book, but again, like none of her other books really speak to me. Also, from my understanding, all of her other books are all kind of in the same world, like they're all kind of intertwined and connected. This is the first one that's been set outside of California, and I'm pretty sure I didn't notice any connections to any of her other books. Like I know of her other books. I know like the general premise of maybe not all her books, but most of her books. And I didn't notice any Easter eggs in this one. But man, Atmosphere. I highly encourage you to check it out. This was so good. So good. Oh, literally I was sobbing that last page. Next book. One I highly encourage you to listen to the audiobook if you so choose. The actual book itself is still phenomenal, but the audiobook really ties it all together. And that is for Paris, the Memoir by Paris Hilton. And Paris Hilton is actually the one who narrates the audiobook. One of my favorite things about this book is that it feels like just a constant stream of thought, but not in like a rambly way. Everything intertwines and ultimately weaves itself all back together. It's still a very like streamlined storyline and you get so much information, but the way that like she kind of goes off on these little side tangents about other things that are happening during these time periods, I don't know, it just feels like you're talking to a best friend, like you're having a conversation with someone and they're just like, oh yeah, and then this random thing that happened. And like, it's just, the storytelling in this is so phenomenal. And Paris's story in general, while she may have been a socialite, her story is so devastating. And the sad thing is like what she went through at these wellness facilities is, I would say, like mild compared to what other children have gone through. And if you don't kind of like know what happened to Paris, first and foremost, obviously read the book. But if you're not really a book reader, First and foremost, what are you doing here? Hi, hello, thanks for hanging out. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. But there was also a documentary that came out, which is on YouTube. So I'll have it linked in the corner and down below for you guys to check out. I highly encourage you watching the documentary because the documentary itself really just goes into her experience at these like children wellness center situations. And I know I'm using the wrong term, like there's an actual proper terminology for these institutions, but they're the institutions that pretty much you get kidnapped in the middle of the night and brought to these retreats. The documentary really goes into that part of her life, how traumatizing and terrible these centers are. The book definitely, while it does cover the centers, it's not like the meat and potatoes of the story. It really goes through kind of like her entire life leading up to that, and then a little bit of like what her life is currently, how she's become an advocate for people who have not only experienced these centers, but also like trying to completely abolish these centers and get rid of them because they're still active today. And like more and more information is coming out about these types of places, whether it's Provo. I think there's one in California. I don't remember the exact name of it, but there's like all these places that pretty much are like just torturing kids to make them assimilate into society. Oh my God, it's absolutely devastating and so sad. I just need you guys to consume Paris the Memoir. And again, I really encourage you to listen to the audiobook because I think Paris does a phenomenal job narrating it. Also, highly encourage watching the documentary. I think the documentary is like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours long. It's absolutely phenomenal. So good. And again, it's on YouTube, so you can literally leave this video and watch it. But please stick around. We have 2 more books to talk about. So the next book on the list is actually my most recent read of 2025, and that is The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ali Carter. I had so much fun with this book. 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 It was so fun. This is a story about 2 authors who are invited to like the queen of murder and mystery. Like imagine Agatha Christie inviting you to her home and then all of a sudden Agatha Christie goes missing. So now you have to solve the mystery of where she is. That's pretty much what this book is about. And our 2 authors have a little romance story. It's actually kind of cute. I think this is kind of sold as enemies to lovers, but to be honest, I would say it's more annoyance to lovers. The story actually, from the guy's perspective, is really sweet on like his experience with, I think the main character's name is Maggie. Yes, Maggie. Ethan, his point of view, because we do get his point of view a couple of times. It's not often, but we do get it a few times. And kind of like his perception on Maggie it was really cute. And when you like first get his perspective, it's a flashback on how they first met, and it's so sweet. It's so cute. Such a great read. Honestly, I would say this is a good winter read. Doesn't have to be Christmas in particular. Obviously, this is set during Christmas time, but it just feels like cold. This book just feels cold. There's a lot of elements where I'm like, oh yes, this is cold. I feel cold right now. And last, but certainly not least, Strange Houses by Uketsu. Y'all, when I tell you I had so much fun with this book, I can't say it enough. I had so much fun with this book. This was such an immersive experience for me. The book literally, like I feel like there wasn't a page that I didn't write on. There's floor plans in this. I was trying to solve the crime with them. So pretty much there's this house where a crime occurred and the floor plans are being inspected and they're like, why is this, the floor plan is weird. Why is this so weird? This is a strange anomaly. Why is there this strange anomaly? Let's figure out why this anomaly in this floor plan exists. Oh my God, it was so much fun. I had so much fun with this book. And the twist at the end, I feel like there's twists and turns every other chapter, but at the very end, there's like this final twist and you're just like, oh, what? You already shoved the dagger in my heart and now you're gonna twist it one way and then twist it another way. What? Oh, and I did. I did get a little teary-eyed in this because there's one character where you start to like grow this attachment to and you're like, oh my god, it's really sweet. And the funny thing is you don't meet them until pretty much the very end of the book. And you're like, oh, this is so sweet. And then all of a sudden it's like, what the fuck? So yeah, it was just, oh my gosh, Strange Houses. Uketsu has another book coming out in 2026 called Strange Buildings, and needless to say, I am very excited for that book to come. I can't even talk for that book to come out. Anyways, those are all of the books that I really loved and appreciated in 2025. Let me know in the comments down below, what was your absolute favorite book of the year. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.